Subscribe to the all-new HardLore Patreon now for early, ad-free access to every episode and an exclusive episode every month.
This next one makes me want to tear my eyeballs out. Colin sent the bracket last night. I read this matchup specifically between Death Threat and Madball, and I responded, Death Threat and Madball? I don't know how to navigate this conversation.
Look, I didn't look at it. I was like trying not to focus on what was what until we started this, and this is horrific. This is a violent act. But I think these are the important discussions that we're supposed to have. Hello, welcome. It's HardLore time. How are you, Bo?
I'm doing very well, Colin.
Big week. Big episode right now.
Been planning for months. Literal months.
Months in the making. You know, we did the heaviest bands episode. It was controversial to this day.
Yeah, I still get stopped by people like at Sound and Fury or at the Rumble. Like when I go out, people are like, I don't know about Neurosis, dude. Like everybody.
I mean, Deicide Typo still haunts my dreams, as I'm sure it does yours, but this isn't about that. This is about the hardest hardcore band of all time. We are going to crown the winner today for the hardest hardcore band of all time. And you'll notice this time, keyword hardcore.
Yes, it's much more acute and less broad.
Exactly. You know, we realize when talking heaviness, heft, weight, 90% of the discussion was death metal, extreme metal of some kind, and not hardcore. So we wanted to, get the dying fetuses and the suffocations, the inevitable champions, really, in some regards, out of the way here, so that hardcore in itself could shine.
Yeah,
and we could find out the hardest within the genre whose intention is hard.
Wow. So let's clarify exactly what we mean by hard. Let's set the parameters for this argument we're about to have for 2 hours.
Okay, I think we have to keep personal hardness kind of out of it.
Yeah.
Because we don't know who, somebody in Turning Point could be a serial murderer, and they're not on here.
Sure. Oh, I see what you're saying. So like you're saying the life outside of the music has to be ignored. I
don't know about ignored, but it can't be you can't just be talking about that the whole thing. But like they're so hard, because then you're saying they're harder than it's complicated. You're gonna get us killed in that regard,
That is true.
I don't want to be killed for saying a band is hard.
Yeah. Oh,
and Cold as Life wins if that's the case,
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking, but now an interesting part of that is a little bit of a gray area is lyrics, because that opens the window a little bit is all I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Before we get into this, let me just tell you, I love you so much, and we'll still be friends at the end of this. Okay. That's all. That's what I wanted to say. Before we start talking about, but this Morrissey lyric's pretty hard.
Hardcore band. I got it.
Yeah. There's a lot of factors here, but I'm looking at objective musical hardness. I'm looking at science. I'm walking down Hollywood Boulevard. I picked the dumbest motherfucker I've ever seen. Hideous, too. And I show him two bands back to back. What does this ugly, stupid son of a bitch think? Which one is harder?
Okay.
Science. SFL. South Florida. Science, Facts, Logic.
All right. Well.
Shit, dude, this is scary.
I know. Because, so just a little background. Colin Colin came up with the list like months ago, resent it the other day. This graphic was made within the last 12 hours.
I saw it last night and my heart sank.
Yeah, when he sent it to me, every single matchup is brutal. Every single one is
No, there's no remorse here. And from the rip, every single bracket is horrifying. You're looking at it down below now, so you're shaking your head agreeing. Maybe throughout this week you've had the chance to fill it out.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we might agree with you, we might not. I'm going to say that we probably don't.
Yeah.
Judging on the last bracket. But let's get into this.
Yeah, let's do the first one.
The first matchup here. Dying Breed. Troy, New York's, you know, the Beatles of Troy, New York, really. Versus Earth Crisis.
The Beatles of Syracuse.
Of Troy. Not Syracuse, different.
Earth Crisis.
Oh, no.
Syracuse.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking Dying Breed. Yeah, this is true, like upstate versus upstate.
Yeah.
Winter classic right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is scary, man. Well, but you know, look. You've got the best vegan straight edge band of all time.
Yeah.
Versus, and if you want to talk personal stuff, which I said I wouldn't, but the one time I saw Dying Breed, the drummer had to run into the bed of a truck and say, "Can't miss parole," and skirted out of the parking lot.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm not talking about that.
But yeah, we're not bringing that up.
Yeah, objection. Yeah. What is it? What do they say when they don't want the jury to take that into consideration?
Oh, that's overruled. No, it's sustained. Sustained means don't listen to that.
Okay. Any lawyers listening?
Yeah, sorry about that. Here's the problem though. Earth Crisis. Again, we're not talking personal.
No,
but they were on the news as having started like a straight edge gang.
You know? I know, but dude, we're talking musical hardness here. And
still vegan, still straight edge, still writing about it.
I go to bat for them as often as I can. That they're the most straight edge band, but it doesn't mean they're the hardest. I will say something I do take into account is depth in the discography.
Yeah.
Dying Breed's got an LP, an amazing split, and I think a demo, and that's it. But that on that record, the second song is like, "Hey, you're a bitch if you use witness protection," you know?
Yeah.
And Earth Crisis is talking Sodom as well as Gomorrah.
What came out first?
Earth Crisis.
But
Dying Breed don't.
No. Hold on. I got a point. I have a point.
Okay.
Not only did they start up first, but they are credited as kind of changing music and making.
I mean, they were hot. They were the new hotness. Like Hatebreed was honored to be touring with them in the early '90s.
So I think musically, here the thing is too is like the styles. I definitely lean towards Earth Crisis as being harder.
But dude, but like intention here is different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Earth Crisis is like intelligent, thoughtful, thought-provoking lyrics that make you rethink a lot of things and change your lifestyle. Dying Breed is saying, double barrel by my side, I'm going to take what's mine. It's saying every song is like, I'm going to kill you. And I mean it. And you don't get that from Earth Crisis. I love them so much. Happy 30th anniversary to Earth Crisis. But I think what Dying Breed accomplishes in one single album, in terms of shit, hard is the conversation. If hard is the question.
Point. That's interesting.
And it is.
Yeah.
I think I go Dying Breed.
The concentration of hard is something to consider.
It is 100% of what you hear. 100% of Dying Breed music, the soul thing that's pretty hard.
Well, it's fine.
Better run for cover.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
I'm going to concede this one because
you don't have to concede. We can go to a judge.
I'm much less familiar with Dying Breed than I am Earth Crisis. I listened to every band when we made the list just to make sure I had
Yeah.
But Earth Crisis, dude. I mean, I know it's like the cliche song, but A Firestorm to Purify not being hard.
It is hard. I'm not saying it's not hard.
But I'm saying not being like the hardest. That's fucking crazy.
But even
militants, even though
listen, I get it. I'm straight edge because of this. I don't think that makes me harder. You know, it makes me better and smarter than most. But
But look, if you saw, if it came out that, I don't know, the best UFC, if John Jones was like, oh yeah, I've been straight edge my whole life, wouldn't you party be like, fuck yeah?
Yeah, it's hard.
You know what I mean?
But like he's more like Dying Breed in his lifestyle choices.
Okay, all right, fine.
So take that as you will.
See, the problem here, and I would normally go to a judge, but with this, it would be like, call Martine. Because your brother and Brody are both going to say
Martine is saying Earth Crisis.
I know.
You want to call Martine?
But, well, he's in Europe. But I know
that he's ready. I told him.
He's going to say Earth Crisis.
That's okay.
But Brody would say Dying Breed. And call your brother. Call your brother.
Okay.
I think he's kind of a better split.
He loves both, you know?
Yeah.
So here we go. We're calling on our first judge for the first bracket.
First fucking bracket.
That's amazing. There he is. Okay, we've got Taylor Young here, objective judge of our very first bracket.
The first one?
The first one. We're at an impasse.
Well,
yeah. Are you ready to hear?
Yeah.
It's Dying Breed versus Earth Crisis. Hardest. The only thing you're thinking about is hard.
There are arguments for each one.
I know.
It's kind of the premise.
We just argued them.
I'm gonna go just objective. Like, all right, it's Dying Breed, but there's just only because there's so much more real life.
Yeah, but we're trying to keep that argument out of it. But I'm saying that even in the intention of their music, double barrel by my side, I'm going to take what's mine.
I'm saying the real life things that are in the lyrics and stuff like that.
Like it's in the music. It's embedded into the music.
It's part of it. It's part. You can't write.
Okay, you're setting a precedent
like that without having that.
But it's in the songs, Bo. It's not saying
that thing in your mind, you know.
Yeah. All right. Excellent answer. Good answer. All right. I'll call you later, probably. There you have it. First bracket is finally wrapped up.
We're setting that precedent.
But this is a rare occurrence where the thing we're saying not to consider is so strongly embedded into what he's saying the entire time.
Okay. But then it's like street justice and survival of the streets are like,
yeah, but the music matches what he's saying in Dying Breed's case, you know?
Okay.
It's all there. All right. First bracket is officially Dying Breed. Congratulations to Dying Breed.
It doesn't matter because they're both losing to the winner of the next bracket anyway.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Next matchup, All Out War versus Grimlock.
Now listen.
Yeah.
I know how you feel.
Yeah.
I'm there for you.
I know.
All Out War is possibly the hardest band ever.
All Out War 100% wins this bracket. Okay, we're going to keep this one nice and short. Grimlock is, that's the first hardcore band I ever heard.
Right.
That's the first palm mute I probably ever heard.
Damn.
Ultimately, the reason I'm in this world at all can be accredited to this band, the song Mountain of Power. But All Out War is All Out War. One of the most consistent musical artists in any genre, period.
Dude, I kind of realized the other day they're kind of they're like the Cannibal Corpse of hardcore.
Cannibal Corpse, Bolt Thrower, Bad Religion, All Out War. Those are the bands with the most great records. The Big Four, baby. You heard it here. So congratulations, All Out War. You're going to the next round. Mm-hmm. Holy fuck, this next bracket. I feel for King Nine here.
Of course, they got
hosed by our graphic designer, Carrie. This wasn't us, I swear to God. I'm sorry to King Nine, who would all agree.
Yeah.
Cold as Life wins this bracket immediately. But look at how few modern bands are on this.
Yeah.
King
Right.
9 deserves their rightful place on this list.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I like that.
It deserves to be said that there's 32 hard bands that I think are the hardest ones, that we think are the hardest ones here. And King 9 is one of them.
The Monstars are one of them.
They're like, without question,
Yeah.
King 9 versus some other band could easily be second, third round. But in this case, they are up against a colossal juggernaut in Cold as Life.
Yeah, dude.
So congrats to Cold as Life.
It's literally one of those memes where it's like the people with camels walking on the beach and then like the pyramid being off the shore, and it's just Cold as Life. It's just kind of...
Yeah. What can you do, you know?
I don't know.
Okay, interesting next matchup. The Killer versus Everybody Gets Hurt.
That is interesting because they're kind of similar.
Similar in hardness, where they're both offer so much more than you think they're going to.
Yes.
EGH, everybody thinks is like this fucking stupid beatdown band.
Yeah, and it's
And
not.
at the end of the day, it is similar to Cold as Life, where it's you listen to the whole record, you're getting everything you like about hardcore.
Right.
Killer is the same. Where
Honestly,
it's
the
like
same, yeah.
The second LP
Yeah.
is fucking like it's an opus.
I just put that up on my wall. I have like the print of the artwork. Just hung it up yesterday. Like, I love that thing. Yeah, I have a bias. I have an obvious bias. The same way that Grimlock influenced you, the Killer definitely influenced me, and like everyone I know from here for heavy hardcore. So it's kind of like I have a bias, and then also lyrically,
Yeah.
hooey, there's no.
I think, Bo, I'm with you.
Okay, all right.
I think the Killer is taking this bracket. And my argument is that EGH is so much more than hard. And like, you know, the Killer obviously is too, but Everybody Gets Hurt is not just doing, you know, like tough guy hard stuff. Neither is the Killer, obviously.
No,
but
I know what
like,
you're saying.
I want everybody to take from this that you need to listen to EGH. Basically, you're going to listen to the Killer because they won this bracket. But EGH, they're back. They're gigging again. Truly like a top 10 underrated New York hardcore band solely because they're more than you think they are.
Good point. I like
Check
that.
them out.
Dude, the playlist of this bracket.
Oh, this is actually the best music of all time. So far, the winners are Dying Breed in the first bracket, All Out War second bracket, Cold as Life, and the Killer. So that's our top quarter of the top left side. Holy hell, we're just getting started, folks.
Jeez.
And next we've got this is an interesting matchup.
It is.
Built Upon Frustration from Pittsburgh versus Knuckle Dust from foggy London town.
Dude, let's be honest about something.
Okay.
There's almost nothing harder than a hard British dude.
Then a hard British guy, yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
And dude, Knuckle Dust,
Yeah.
E standard.
No shit.
E standard.
Wow.
That means that every other most bands on this list are tuned to D at the highest.
Yeah, right.
Knuckle Dust is in straight up fucking Woody Guthrie tuning, you know?
Yeah.
They're playing the same shit that Johnny Cash was playing, just distorted.
Yep.
And they're
Wow.
making it hard. They are proof that you don't have to tune down to be hard. And I think that deserves to be commended. Built Upon is a band that has not come up on the show a lot.
No, it
But
hasn't.
Book of Mourning. What's the other? Resurrected. 2 incredible, insane hard records with great, like super clean but hard production. Probably the hardest PA band of all time. Other than Taste of Steel, that band's hard, but they didn't have a lot of material, and the recordings sound like they were recorded inside of a toilet, like in the bowl,
In the
back
bowl, the porcelain,
which is
booth.
impressive that they got it all in there. but it sounds wild. But that's the charming thing. Anyway, Taste of Steel, great. Built Upon Frustration, great band. They'll be on the playlist. Knuckle Dust is the winner of this bracket.
I think I agree.
I'm confident in that.
Yeah, me too. They're kind of the champion of when I envision UK like heavy hardcore.
100%.
Like, that's the band, you know.
And I would think that the UK probably feels the same.
Hope so.
You know, I would imagine they're number one.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
So Knuckle Dust is the winner of the next bracket. Okay.
Yeah. All right. This is crazy. This is crazy. Dude.
All right. Next matchup, Terror versus Negative Approach. This is the real Black Sabbath versus Meshuggah conundrum we had in the Heaviest Bands episode.
Yeah.
Because there's two bands on here, Negative Approach, Discharge. Nothing exists without them.
Yeah, they invented this shit.
Every other people heard them turn punk rock extreme and just did it and kept evolving it. Terror is by way of Negative Approach and Discharge, but we'll get there. However, Terror is Terror, you know?
Terror is the best.
And this isn't about who was first, it's about who's hardest.
I agree. I think Terror is the best hardcore band of our era. Period.
By a country mile.
Yeah, fully agree. And so with that very due respect, I think because they have everything. A Negative Approach has everything we've been talking about, where it's like big discography, hard all the way through.
Yeah, not a huge discography. Terror's got a big discography where they're another band where 10 LPs, every single one's good. Negative Approach was a band for 2 years, broke up, came back 15 years later.
More Than Dying Breed or something is like what I meant. Is like they have the songs, they had like the lyrics and like meant it. I don't know. This is hard because
they both are hard. But it's first and best here, you know?
Yeah. It just feels really wrong to eliminate either one in the first round.
I agree, but this isn't what do we like more, and even if it was, Terror would win. But it's the hardest. And music evolves. Like I said, no longer monkeys, you and me.
Yeah.
Negative Approach wasn't writing it thinking this is hard.
Or like kids are going to kill each other to this part.
Which, I mean.
Yeah, you know.
It's got to be Terror.
I think it does have to be.
It scientifically has to be. Yeah. And that's what we're men of, you know? We're men of science.
We are science. Yes. But it feels wrong.
They're on here, you know? They're one of the 32 hardest, and they did it first.
Yeah. There you go.
So,
that's a good way to put it.
What can you do? It's not that they're getting eliminated in the first round because they're up against the best one. You know? It's tough. But you got to turn the emotions off and just look at hardest.
Okay.
It's the hardest one. Terror, it's got to be Terror.
All right. Terror wins. Okay. The next
Terror
one
wins. Let's write it down.
This next one makes me want to tear my eyeballs out. Colin sent the bracket last night. I read this matchup specifically between Death Threat and Madball, and I responded, Death Threat and Madball? I don't know how to navigate this conversation.
Look, I didn't look at it. I was like trying not to focus on what was what until we started this, and this is horrific.
This is a tragedy.
This is a violent act by our graphic designer, Carrie. But I think these are the important discussions that we're supposed to have.
Okay.
Hardest.
Knee jerk, Madball.
Knee jerk, Death Threat.
Okay. So this is where we have to really
well let's discuss it, you know?
Let's break it down. What is Death Threat has Last Days, has Peace and Security.
Peace and Security, got a bunch of other stuff. But those are two landmark absolute all-time bangers where you can argue, what's the hardest Madball song? You know?
New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 5 songs as hard as New York City on Peace and Security. You know?
Yeah, but there's... I don't think that... I mean... But I think you could say, just because something's like the hardest doesn't mean that it's the only hard song. Like, Set It Off itself is
there's a ton. But
Down by Law, insane.
But I think when you compare the hardest moments musically, it is Death Threat. But we'll call in a judge for this one.
We might have
one
to call
not
in a
from
judge.
Connecticut.
Yeah, we might have to call it judge, dude. Because like, also, Madball has a song about Cold as Life being hard.
Yeah.
That's fucking hard, dude.
It is,
like,
but it's also I mean, and Death Threats has songs about stage diving and high fiving, which is hard. You know, that a Bo argument would be like, it's pretty hard to love your friends.
No, Bo's not going that way. You're not. You have to kick me in the head pretty early in the morning to get away with that one.
Okay.
Buddy.
This is the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my whole life.
Yeah, because I feel like this is... You have the bias that I have with The Killer or something.
Right, but also I do think there's an objectivity to the intention in the music, you know? Madball is landmark, foundational, evolutionary, decade-defining, era-defining, genre-defining hardcore music. Death Threat is a hard-ass fucking band, you know? Top 3 bands from a state that now everybody is doing.
The song Brotherhood and the way that they like play it live is one of the craziest things to like witness.
Disgrace, dude.
So I'm thinking of like the parts, and like Madball might have more sing-alongs.
Yes.
Might have more participation in a less violent way, I guess.
Yeah. Death Threat is for the goons, dude. In the best way, you know? But so, you know, Madball is too. Madball got goons. Let's be real. Let's phone in a judge. What do we think about Martine for this one?
I think Martine, he's going to say Death Threat. They cover Death Threat.
How do you know? Think about how many times he's toured with Madball, though, you know?
Yeah.
Let's give him a call.
Okay.
There he is.
What's up?
Okay. Martine Stewart here. God's Hate, Terror, Sound and Fury Fest. We've got a big one for you. This
God, okay.
Possibly the
sucks.
most punishing matchup on the entire bracket. You're not gonna like it.
Hit me with it. Hit me.
So the matchup is Death Threat versus Madball.
Okay.
Hardest. So my knee-jerk reaction was Death Threat. Bo's knee-jerk reaction was Madball. Hardest.
What? Mine would be Death Threat.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't know. Do I have to like elaborate?
You don't have to, but if something comes to mind, you know, I'm sure the people would love to hear it.
Oh man, I don't know. I just the thought of Connecticut area shows and bands all at a specific era of them playing, and just thinking about how I don't know. Yeah,
The incredible loss of blood that has occurred.
yeah. Both, you know, that is a tough one. That's definitely a tough one. But yeah, knee-jerk reaction, like you said, is the best way to describe it. It's just like something inside of me naturally chooses Death Threat.
Hard, and when the word hard, you know, that's the only key word here. Obviously, Madball embodies hard in many ways.
Yeah.
But you look, I argued that Madball's single hardest musical moment, New York City.
Yeah.
There are, its Peace and Security is littered with parts as hard, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So,
there you go.
I think we made the right decision.
All right.
Of course, it was me and you. And
You know.
Bo was
wrong. Yeah.
Thank you, Martine. I may call you back later.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Later.
Enjoy your bunk.
I'm gonna let you have this one because I know you're gonna tear your own skin off at the next matchup.
This is no good. This is all no good. But listen, I do think it's criminal to see Madball out in the first round.
Yeah, it sucks.
One of the greatest hardcore bands in history that will ever exist. Truly like Bret Hart tier hardcore music here. But we're talking hard only. And that's the thing we got to remember.
All right.
And it's the winner is Death Threat. Which, God, this is
you see
fun.
what I'm saying? Like,
brutal matchup next. 100 Demons versus Bulldoze. Knee Jerk is 100 Demons.
all the way.
Okay.
Just all the way.
And I Bulldoze invented beatdown,
It invented what a lot of people think we mean by hard. You know what I mean? Like when you say like, oh, that band's got a lot of hard shit, your mind kind of goes there.
My mind goes Bulldoze, and then I'm often disappointed in what I hear, because it's not Bulldoze. And then I go back to Bulldoze and I go, there we go.
Okay.
Now I can breathe.
Gotcha. But
but you're up against one of the greats, one of the hardest.
One. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll get there. 100 Demons, and again, this is similar to the Dying Breed argument. What they accomplished in just hard in 2 albums, I would put against absolutely anything ever written.
And let's think about on the second LP with like some of the melodic shit.
Hard.
Yeah, somehow still like
hard
really
and
works.
Beautiful, which are my 2 favorite things.
So for me, it's hands down 100 Demons. And I can't wait to
I
watch
agree.
you.
I'm with you. And
wait.
next bracket. Oh my fucking God.
We'll get there.
Holy shit, that sucks. But great respect to Bulldoze. That's why they're on here.
Yeah.
Probably could have gone to the semifinals at least against many other bands.
Mm-hmm.
But man, they were up against a Goliath here, and in this case, David didn't make it. David
good.
Bulldoze. R.I.P. Kev One, absolute legend. Bulldoze, an all-time great.
Yep.
It could only be 100 Demons here. That concludes the left side tier 1. So our winners are Dying Breed, All Out War, Cold as Life, The Killer, Knuckle Dust, Terror, Death Threat, 100 Demons. Shit. This is horrifying.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's time to go to the right.
Dude, this one's crazy too.
I don't like it.
You have era defining. So the first matchup that we have on the right hand side is Biohazard versus Trapped Under Ice.
Yeah.
And like, I know 2007 demo. I know Biohazard was floating around. You know what I mean? Like, I know that that's an influential thing.
Yeah. No, had to be highly influential to TUI.
Just thinking about like flow and transitions and stuff, it's like very in vain. So
but when you go back and like save for like punishment, Biohazard offers a lot. It's not just hard. The lyrics certainly are. TUI's, I think their intention is let's write some hard ass shit.
Okay.
So it's tough to argue.
It's kind of the Madball thing where it's like Biohazard had a lot of sing-along parts, a lot of kind of, a lot of fast parts. I mean, TUI had fast parts too, but
it's really kind of the best modern of our like Terror's all time at this point, TUI, we watched blossom before our eyes and become something out of this world. Mm-hmm. Biohazard is 3 of the greatest pieces of music in history in a row. During the like golden era boom of hardcore.
Yeah, true.
Fuck.
Both era defining, both kind of.
It is, man. Knee jerk is Biohazard.
That is knee jerk, yeah.
Okay, and it's like I'm getting in the pit for either one tomorrow. And I can't say that about a lot of bands.
Right.
Fuck.
Okay, I think we need to consider intention, like you've mentioned. When
Biohazard was writing it because they had to, and TY is too. That's the thing.
But State of the World, like that, when they got there, it's more like we're making music, like we're playing huge fests. We're doing we're going everywhere. We're doing everything.
But I do think they got that maybe 7-figure, definitely 6-figure advance for that.
Yeah.
And instead of doing ballad after ballad after ballad after ballad, said, hey, let's write the biggest hardcore record anyone's ever heard.
Yes, but not written for clubs. TUI wrote for clubs. TUI wrote for scary, dark.
And I've talked to them about that at length, that like part of Sam's writing method is visualizing the pit during a part.
There you go. That's as hard as it gets. That's if the intention is something that we're considering, then it's like, well.
But it was the same. When you talk to people in the early 90s about seeing Biohazard, I know people that were like, I didn't even like them. I went to the shows to beat people up.
Yeah, dude.
Like I went there to fight.
Yeah.
Because it was gonna happen.
Yeah. Damn.
It's pretty hard.
Pretty hard. Fuck. This is
also very complicated to me, as like Danny Schuler is as a drummer, like all I do. That's the guy. That's me.
Yeah.
And TUI is the band I cut my teeth touring with. This is tough. This is as hard as Death Threat Madball to me.
I'm gonna call James.
Okay.
Let's call James. See what he says. Because I think he'll say Biohazard.
This is complicated. The next few brackets are not as complicated.
Yeah. Oh, we got him. There we go. JP. All right, we got a matchup for you. This one sucks.
All right, let me hear it.
So now remember, we're talking hardness, which we've. Oh, were you napping? I'm sorry, buddy.
No, I actually was getting up from Muay Thai.
Oh,
Let me see him.
He's just a little.
Excellent. EP.
All right. So hardness. It's Biohazard versus Trapped Under Ice.
I mean, it's got to be. I think Biohazard is one of the hardest New York hardcore bands, actually, based on aesthetic, based on sound, based on their actual real life that they grew up in. I personally think Biohazard is a harder band than Trapped Under Ice. But that I also think it's an unfair matchup. But
it is an unfair matchup, but a lot of what he just said can be said about TUI.
I thought it was unfair, but I would go Biohazard.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James. Have a good time at Muay Thai.
Thank you.
And like I said, a lot of what he just said can be also attributed to TUI. The lifestyle, lyrics, aesthetic, era defining, but a
lot of that could have been said about Madball and Death Threat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
but
kind of.
I'll use the same argument in TUI's defense.
Yes.
What's the single hardest Biohazard part? Punishment intro, or Black and White and Red All Over or something. Put that up against
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what are the parts then?
Because Biohazard is like fast. But then you have.
Whereas.
But then versus. It's tough, man. This is really hard.
I just thought of a band that we don't have on here that I regret not having. Fucking Ramallah.
That's hard. Is Blood for Blood on here?
Yeah, Blood for Blood's on the bottom.
Okay. Good.
I think it's TUI. I think intention. I think parts. And this is me disagreeing with James.
Yeah.
But he's not getting the nuance of the conversation like we're having. You know what I mean? That's just knee jerk.
Yeah. And I do think that like when you go back and revisit the Biohazard discography, it's made a lot harder by vocals and drums and Bobby Hamble's solos are carrying the band over like a lot of like punk riffs.
Interesting. Yeah.
and like it's a lot of it is blues scale. Mm-hmm. They've got their lane. You know, they've got their box. They like
big time.
I do think hardest moment versus hardest moment. TUI does take it.
This is a more interesting matchup than I expected, to be honest. I thought for sure you were going to say, all respect to TUI, it's got to be Biohazard. I'm truly kind of torn because I keep going back and forth.
I mean, Biohazard has a much more extensive discography. So in terms of like the depth, it's tough to argue. But TUI's whole point is hard.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing.
The thing about how Sam was writing riffs and like just all that.
And they're doing Fetus a lot, which is hard.
And lyrically,
and
awesome.
But you know, hardcore was different.
True.
When Biohazard was doing them first three. I might go TUI.
They both also have like some of the best hardcore music videos ever.
Oh. 100%.
You know what I mean? So it's just, this is actually a really difficult.
Like TUI is doing, everybody goes, let's do a Biohazard style video.
Right.
When you do the like walking with your boys, black and white thing, you're going, let's do a Biohazard one.
Yeah. Very true.
But we're not talking most influential. We're talking hardest. And I think because I just said that, I have to go TUI.
Yeah. So apologies to TUI, anybody who might be listening who were probably frustrated with that answer. They're probably like, no, we're not. You know,
I think they'll have Biohazard will understand. You know, Biohazard is one of the best ever.
Yeah,
but if the conversation is only hardest, I think TUI takes it.
Okay.
Congrats to TUI. God damn, that was a crazy matchup.
That's David versus Goliath, and it landed. You know,
and David wins
right in there. Oh, the next one.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry, Ringworm.
All right, so the winner
Ringworm
of
versus
that one,
Hatebreed. Come on.
Listen,
all due respect to the worm.
I love the worm. Big time.
Sons of the worm, really. It's Hatebreed.
Is that the only Cleveland band we have on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Love the worm so much. But like later Worm gets more fast and more metal.
Yeah, it's pure metal. Where I mean, Hatebreed does too, but they're still going gung 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 gung. It's Hatebreed, man.
It's Hatebreed.
Come on,
Hatebreed. There are 2 bands on here. 3 bands on here. 4 bands on here. When I think of hard, those are the bands that do it, and something tells me they're going to be the top 4. We'll see. So yeah, I think that's an easy. All due respect to the worm.
Truly, all the love in the world to the worm. It's Hatebreed.
It's Hatebreed.
No question. Whew, interesting one. This is gonna get wet and wild here. Cro-Mags versus Merauder.
For me, the way we've been interpreting hard, it's kind of no question Merauder.
Oh, I'm with you.
Okay.
The student becomes the master. Produced by Paris.
Yeah, truly.
But losing in the hardest band bracket. But it's hardest.
Something that we never really talked about is after we did the Paris episode, when we were in Vegas for the AVN thing, we listened to Cro-Mags like hours.
Because it dropped while we were together.
Yeah.
So we spent 3 straight days blowing through the discog. And you don't walk away from it going, that's the hardest shit. You walk away from it going like, what a fucking incredible band.
Yeah, true. And also what's interesting is like when people mention Cro-Mags, they're going to think Age of Quarrel, which is like the less musically hard of their discography, right?
Yeah, their hardest moment is probably Apocalypse Now.
100%.
Which
what do we say? Mach 6, I think?
I think they go Mosh 6, which nobody else in history has done. Whereas Merauder, I would put... Think about the Master Killer breakdown for a second. It should not work. How is that hard? Nah, 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 nah. Me doing that sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
Nah, 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 nah.
Yeah.
And then anybody will hear that and go, oh, that's one of the hardest fits of all time.
I mean,
made that hard. That's like Knuckle Dust doing East Standard.
There you go. But here's nail and coffin for this conversation. Any song on Master Killer is harder than any Cro-Mags song.
Period. Any song on Master Killer comes on, you do this.
Oh, immediately. Dude, literally the first snare hit in Time Ends, the first snare hit of the record. And it's just like, this is everything I want in hard music. This is perfect. And again, all due respect to Cro-Mags.
All due respect to Cro-Mags. We're talking hard.
Yeah.
It's Merauder.
Yeah.
And you're awesome. Honestly, it's HardLore. What do you fucking want from us?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what we're about, man. Crazy matchup.
Yeah, this one's kind of wild. Like, it's Floorpunch versus Stout.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love Floorpunch, and to me, a hard edge band adds a little more to what they're doing
all day. But Stout is infinitely harder.
Yeah,
we're talking hard. We're not talking most straight edge. We're not talking best, fastest. We're just talking hard. Stout, the argument can be made. We've made for any fucking band can be argued for Stout.
I think a lot of people who maybe aren't familiar with Floorpunch would put it on and be like, "What? This is hard?" And then I'm saying those same people will put on Stout and go, "Yeah, this is hard." So it's kind of like,
if we're doing Hollywood Boulevard, Groman's Chinese Theater, Dumbass on the Street, and showing them both, the answer is Stout.
Yeah.
The God of War intro before the riff comes in is hard. It's just hard drums. You can't do that. And they did it. And everything he says is real. They did the fucking AK-47 shirt, which everybody wants to have one of those, you know, design wise. It's got to be Stout.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. How do you do this?
Congrats, Stout. Sorry, Floorpunch. But as you can see, a fast straight edge band being one of the 32 hardest bands of all time.
There's a reason for that.
There's a reason they're on there.
For sure.
And it's like half lyrically, which is fucking sick.
It's fucking awesome. Floorpunch rips.
Discharge versus AF in terms of hard. So let's break this down. Discharge, one of the most influential musical acts in history. D beat.
Yeah.
Discharge beat is what that means. If you hear somebody say we're a D beat band, it means Discharge beat. They are doing the thing that Discharge does.
Which, like, Pantera did.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, there's, like, huge bands that did the D-beat. So you got to think about that. The
Discharge beat.
Yeah.
AF has got some D-beats, you know? But AF is AF.
Yeah, I think this is a Terra negative approach thing.
Yeah. It's the chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
And the chicken could smash the egg.
Wow. Damn. So is AF's the chicken?
AF is the fucking chicken. Baby.
Yeah, I think
the biggest rooster. And you ain't snuffing him. All right. AF kind of only got harder too.
100%.
Whereas Discharge got weirder.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, AF got, and probably purposefully harder, especially when Henderson, you know, like.
That's the dude. One Voice is.
Yeah.
That was like putting the stamp on the 90s and being like, hey, this decade's just getting started and we're different, but we're the best.
Yeah.
It's got to be AF.
Love that. I've that's probably the first one where I'm like 100% totally agree with everything.
Yeah. Okay. This one is so funny. Infest versus Irate. Battle of the Eyes.
I mean, look, I love
it's
Infest.
Fucking Irate,
yeah,
man.
Of course it is. I love Infest, but when you're looking for hard, hard and pissed off can very happily coexist, but they don't necessarily add to one another. Like they're not.
I mean, Infest is on here. You know.
Yeah.
It is to the heart of it, to the core of it, harder than most things will ever be. 1134 Irate is like what the new generation looks at that now as like an Age of Quarrel tier hard record. And you put it on, you can understand why.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy one.
Okay. So that's Irate. The Battle of the Eyes was very fast.
Quick one.
E-Town Concrete versus Kickback. Where to begin here?
Listen,
E-Town before they play their big ballad song, So Many Nights, he says, "This is the hardest song of all time," and then they play that. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Is it true? Yes. But Kickback is the first time I heard Kickback was Taylor sitting me down and putting Forever War on and just looking at me the whole time. I was probably 13, you know?
Can you
and I was
believe
just sitting
this shit?
there like,
Isn't this cool?
it was literally like the world, the Big Bang happening was me hearing Kickback. And this is a similar event for E-Town where I was like, this is allowed?
Ah, yes.
You can do this?
Yeah.
But Kickback was so extreme and wild. And then the day No Surrender came out, getting that CD, putting it in, and just sitting there in awe, track by track. I don't know that I've ever felt anything like that.
It's pretty obvious to me that
It's got to be Kickback.
Yeah. I fully agree.
And, you know, one could argue lyrically, I don't know what the hell Kickback is talking about.
I don't want to know, dude.
And I still know it's hard.
Yeah.
So, congrats to Kickback. Okay, this is an interesting last matchup here. Because this is... Blood for Blood is like the diary of Rob, of White Trash Rob.
Yes.
And it's the hardest things a man has ever thought and said.
This is crazy because it's like Boston versus New York in like the worst way.
In the worst way. And then Stigmata was a band that me finding them early was as foundational as something like Kickback to just my growth and my entry to this genre. But goddamn, man. Stigmata's discography is not as deep as Blood for Blood's.
That's true.
And what Blood for Blood accomplishes in hard ways by playing what is a punk music a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But also, dude, you pick up a guitar. What's one of the things you do? Dun 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 dun. Gun 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 gun.
Listen,
it's tough.
This
is tough.
I've heard like true like legendary, like the stuff of legends about early Blood for Blood shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like no one was safe. You don't want to be there.
Yeah. I think I'm with you.
I love Stigmata. I would probably sooner put on Stigmata. But
maybe, yeah.
But when we're talking for the purpose of what we're talking about, I think it like has to be Blood for Blood.
I think it has to be Blood for Blood. And a big part of the argument is when you can accomplish something and have somebody walk away going, that was fucking hard, without making it just 0134, 0134 the whole time.
Right.
And getting around the neck and playing fucking fast punk music. You gotta bring it up. You gotta talk about it. You gotta factor it in. I think it's Blood for Blood here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
All right.
So that was faster than the left, I think.
Yeah, that one.
So the right side first round winners: TUI, Hatebreed, Merauder, Stout, AF, Irate, Kickback, Blood for Blood.
Oh,
Lordy. Speaking of which, speaking of Lordy, I got this shirt from Mad Vintage.
Did you?
I did. Luke at Mad Vintage, he's curated just this unbelievable collection of things you can buy right now at maddvintage.com. He's got, if you listen to this show, you're looking at this list, he's probably got something from every single damn band on
You're
here.
legitimately correct. And I got to say, I'm getting texted more and more about him, about like, oh, I saw this on Mad Vintage, or you think he's got some, like, people are learning. So
he's entered the vintage lexicon.
Yeah.
And his prices are not as crazy as some people's.
Especially
if you use code HardLore15. You're going to get 15% off your whole order. And some of these things, they add up. They ain't cheap. But they could be a little cheaper with our help. So go over to maddvintage.com. And if you have stuff to sell to him, he's always looking for vintage stuff. So send him a message. He'll probably buy it right off your back.
He's a real mensch, that guy.
That's right. We're big fans. We're customers as well. So you better be fast or we're going to get your shit. All right. Yeah. And if you want to sell it to us too, go to Luke first because we're fair. We're men of fairness and integrity. Okay. It's also Manscaped time. How do your balls smell?
Oh, dude. You kidding? Rosy fresh.
Unbelievable. It smells from here. Keep thinking, what is that? It's beautiful.
It's me.
Balls.
No, it's both balls.
You know, there's something for everyone over at Manscaped, especially if you use code HardLore. You're going to get 20% off and free shipping.
And hey, balls, no balls, choose not to say, they got products that you're going to want.
Absolutely. And I do think the hardest thing a man can do is not smell like shit.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
If you stink, it's like, get out of here, man.
Yeah, but
if somebody's moshing into you, you get a spin kick in the head and it smells good, you're going to remember that for the rest of your life.
I certainly will. And I really think, that... And I think that there's a product a day. I use something every single day for Manscaped. I love it. I take it everywhere with me. Anytime we travel, they got all the stuff you need.
I'm really into the crop cleanser right now, which is just an undercarriage like body wash just for balls.
Just a little
and butt.
That little undercoat.
Just get it in and then do the rest,
Rust proofing. Yeah.
It feels good to escape the man.
Yep.
And, oh man, that's a crazy pun. I was going to do a pun about, being hard, but I don't want to. Code HardLore, 20% off for shipping.
All right.
Okay, it is time to get deeper into our left side winners here.
This is crazy.
First up, this is brutal. Another battle of the upstate here.
Yeah.
Kinda. I mean, Hudson Valley. It ain't in the city.
It's not the city. I guess technically.
Dying Breed versus All Out War.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be All Out War.
It's funny. I was kind of watching you set precedents and then looking ahead at matchups coming, and I was like,
But this one I'm able to scientifically look at musically, purely musical alone. And I was doing that with Dying Breed and Earth Crisis too.
Okay.
But Dying Breed versus All Out War has fucking 10 albums of the hardest shit ever.
Yes.
So it's really nearly impossible to compare. And I would put the Resist intro up against any song ever written.
Wow.
And maybe be like, yeah, this is maybe the hardest one. So
that's easy.
First, it's got to be All Out War. With all due respect to Dying Breed, whom I love so much.
Yep.
It's got to be All Out War.
Yep.
Our second matchup here, Cold as Life and The Killer.
Hey, I love my hometown
fair,
boys.
Man.
I'm a fair man. It's Cold as Life. And I don't think, I don't know if there's,
I think The Killer hears that and goes, yeah.
That's pretty fucking fair.
Yeah.
I don't want to give any spoilers away, but Cold as Life might just be the hardest ever.
We're getting there.
So I think that's a pretty clear cut.
It's just like whether or not we don't know who's going all the way. I think with the heaviest bands one, we had a pretty good idea who was making it to the end or near the end. I truly have no fucking idea in this case who's winning, but I do know in this matchup, it is Cold as Life.
Yes.
Congrats to Cold as Life. Next up, we've got Knuckle Dust versus Terror.
Yeah, I mean, hey, matchups are matchups,
You got British aggression and reality in E Standard versus the best hardcore band of all time.
Yeah, I mean, truly,
it's got to be Terror.
Of course, it's Terror. I fucking love Terror.
We love Terror on this show. We're also big supporters of Knuckle Dust on this show. British legends, icons at this point, and an all-time great. But we're talking Terror here.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? This is fucked. This is getting insane, man.
So
the next
one is so good. So I'll introduce it for you, Colin, and I'm gonna let you just talk. The next one is Death Threat from Connecticut versus 100 Demons from Connecticut. Take it away, Colin. From Connecticut.
I don't like this. I don't like this episode.
This, I mean, this is, it's not as hard for me.
I agree.
Okay.
It's got to be 100 Demons, right?
It literally has to be.
It's got to be, and it crushes my soul in half to do. But as I've argued for other bands, you're getting so much from Death Threat that's not just hard, you know?
Yeah.
There's beautiful, powerful, emotional, relatable things. You're getting Youth of Today from them too, you know?
Kind of, yeah.
It's Youth of Today and Hatebreed, which, you know, the intention of Youth of Today is certainly not hard. So Death Threat's whole thing all the time isn't, we got to be the hardest. Whereas 100 Demons, whether they like it or not, whether they mean to or not, it is.
Even when it's operatic and beautiful, it's still,
you're still killing motherfuckers too.
It's like a movie score. Like a movie score can be played with harps and horns and woodwinds and shit, but it can be hard. And that's how.
But you look at that stage and you feel hardness radiating. It's got to be 100 Demons.
It's got to be 100%.
That was tough. That was hard. But I had to tear the Band-Aid off.
You should call Taylor just to see what he says.
All right.
I think he's going to agree with us.
I think he's going to agree.
Okay.
I just want to get one last Connecticut. Like this is a true, like, this might get me killed, you know? but I would hope that the greater Connecticut hardcore community understands and agrees. And I think even Death Threat would be like, yeah, I understand. So we've already decided this one, but we kind of want to verify the answer just for added security and peace. In the second round, we've got Death Threat versus 100 Demons.
I would actually go 100 Demons.
Yeah. We said the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the argument is that Death Threat offers so much more than hard, you know?
I was gonna say if it was favorite, I might say Death Threat.
Yeah, it's a complicated question, but we're just talking hard, and 100 Demons is that all the time, whether he's doing the operatic voice or not, you know?
Absolutely.
And whether Bruce is singing or Pete is singing, it is just fucking hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's other stuff.
It is, but even that other stuff is hard. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
They can't turn it off.
There aren't harder operatic moments on any other record on it, I don't think.
In history.
Yeah.
Okay. That was all. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right. 100 Demons wins a tough matchup, and that is our left side quarterfinal.
I think, dude,
we fuck this up every time.
We're so dumb.
Our left side second bracket is now done, and the winners are All Out War, Cold as Life, Terror, 100 Demons. Fuck me,
dude. This is getting really good though.
It is. This is the heat, man. The heat is on.
Yeah.
All right. Bracket.
Yeah.
Here we go. Stage 2. Hatebreed versus TUI. Apologies to TUI. It's gotta be fucking.
It just is. It's one of those. I think Hatebreed is like, I don't know, the Yankees or something. Just like the team that you're like, here they come. Like
they've got the biggest budget. They've got the best roster. You know, they got Frank in the band.
Yeah, I mean, and Frank's in like every other one of these finalists.
Yeah, no,
too.
Absolutely. But man, and we didn't go in depth about Hatebreed before when they were against Ringworm, but Under the Knife from the rip, dude, from the demo, I know people that don't like a single mosh part or hard quote unquote band that love Under the Knife. It is like the rawest representation of hardcore maybe ever recorded. Like the purest.
And dude, we got it from Jamie himself that like they saw kids, he saw people at shows wanting to mosh hard and was like,
I'm going to give them something to mosh about.
I'm going to make this.
Yeah.
So
and then you have Satisfaction, which is Abbey Road level, you know?
Straight up.
Historical music, and that happens to be that hard and prolific. And then you have the follow-up in Perseverance, which is even harder. And then you have the follow-up in Rise of Brutality, which is maybe even harder. and it's an unfair matchup.
Yeah.
Where, because, I mean, TUI is generation defining, killed melodic hardcore.
Oh.
And they should get some points for that. And I should have brought that up in round one. I'm sorry, TUI. You killed it. Thank you. Hatebreed wins this round.
Yes.
Apologies to TUI, but I think the amount of conversations I've had with Sam about Hatebreed make me understand. I know they'll understand.
Good.
We've got Merauder versus Stout. This is really interesting.
It's still Merauder, like Hunted Demons, is able to be hard always.
Right.
Even on Five Deadly Venoms. On the yesterday, tomorrow.
And in the road seems so far away.
On the bright side. I mean, that part is fucking
I mean, it goes
unreal.
into maybe
Oh.
Yeah. It's tough, and it's like, but it's not that tough. Master Killer is my favorite hardcore album of all time, and one of the hardest. Stout means every fucking syllable that they say, and the song. And they're underrated, underappreciated. They just happen to be up against
kind of
a nearly unbeatable opponent here.
Yes.
In Merauder. I hope that they understand. Congratulations to Stout for making it to this point.
Yep.
I love to have him on here. I love to ride for Stout.
But
You're up against Merauder.
It's
hard.
Be Merauder, yeah.
It's got to be Merauder, which means the next round matchup is absolutely fucked.
Moving on.
But of course, congratulations to Stout. But Merauder wins this bracket. Agnostic Front versus Irate.
Is Irate a New York band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are New York metal.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Which here's the thing, they're calling themselves New York metal by second album.
Ooh.
And this is the hardest hardcore band of all time.
And has AF ever said they were anything other than hardcore, you know?
Hell no.
Hell no.
But put the hardest moments up against each other. And it's a tough discussion. Hard, you know?
Hard, yeah.
This isn't favorite. This isn't best. This isn't most influential. It's hard. I think we got to go objective here, Bo.
You think it's Irate?
I think it's got to be Irate.
Just because we're talking about, like, what are the parts? What are the... What's the intention?
And you go part for part, and it's like the amount of like jaw-dropping hard things on 1134 alone. That's not what AF is doing. That's not their point. You know,
they have oi shit and they have sing-alongs and
and even on Victim in Pain, even on this this like life-changing, groundbreaking thing, a lot of melody.
Yeah,
like they weren't thinking this is hard. They were thinking like this is hardcore. You know,
right. Okay, I think
whereas Irate, I think was thinking I want bloodshed.
Yeah.
It's got to be. I think in we would look like fool. It would look like we're crusading for cool points if we were doing AF, which we know it's well documented how much we love AF. But we are talking science here.
Yeah,
it's got to be Irate.
I think it's totally fair and objective.
Okay, I'm glad you think so. Doozy up next. Kickback versus Blood for Blood.
It's real apple to oranges.
It is, but like such extreme, the biggest apple and the biggest orange, you know? Where to begin? Both motherfuckers mean everything they're saying.
Okay, but let's think about the guy on the street.
He's probably saying kickback.
Yeah.
Damn, you got me.
You know what I mean? I just
yeah.
It's
a wanderer in the wilderness.
Yeah.
If I put both of these on, the hardest moments from both.
Yeah.
It's got to be kickback.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Blood for Blood, because they are hard in a way that we're actively saying is like unfair.
Yeah, right.
In competition.
Right. Yeah.
And hard, and they've got, again, a band with just infinite melody thrown in.
Oh yeah.
And just like god tier songwriting chops, timeless riffs, timeless melodies, lyrics that everybody's ripped off, you know, hanging on the corner under one of them cold street lights or something. Mm-hmm. We've all been there. That was he, but he was first.
Yeah, he was there
to hang out under a street light.
It's his light. Yeah,
but I think Kickback is the best European hardcore band of all time, and the hardest one as well.
Okay, I agree.
So it's got to be Kickback.
Shoo.
Fucking doozies. Oh shit. Okay.
I think now this is gonna be really hard. This next round.
I think now this is technically a quarterfinal.
Okay.
Because it's coming down to 2 on each side.
So it goes. Does it go quarter, semi-final, or does it go
quarter, semi, and then final?
Okay.
Fuck me. Shit. Cock. Oh, this is no good. We've got All Out War versus Cold as Life next.
So this is where now I think the like mythos of the band does kind of start to weigh in. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does. And mythos considered, All Out War has 10 or so amazing LPs. But you know, the reason Cold as Life maybe doesn't have more could also be considered due to members no longer being with us and Jeff not being available.
Right.
This is fucked up. All Out War versus Cold as Life. Knee jerk for me is All Out War.
Yeah, so knee jerk for me is Cold as Life.
Okay, and it's like, and I hear that and I go, maybe he's right.
I can't but here's the problem though. I'm having a hard time removing everything around the music. You
can't explain all that to the man on the street.
I know. I'm just having a hard time. I really am. So when we're talking hard and intention,
but also hard intention, All Out War's intention is let's write the craziest, hardest shit.
And
whereas Cold as Life,
Jeff himself said they didn't write Born to Land Hard thinking people were going to be killing each other. Like they just thought it sounded cool.
It just ended up as the hardest because they are the hardest. but when you zoom out, you know.
Yeah. I think I'm with you. I think we got there.
Do you think maybe we call in a judge?
Yeah, but it's got to be. Who are you going to call?
Who would understand?
Sealy would be a good one.
Yeah, I think he's got
James
a Cold as
would be a really good one for this.
Let's try Dan.
Okay.
And then we'll call James back.
Okay.
Hey, Dan. You're live on the show. We're doing this is Dan Sealy from King 9, 6-time HardLore guest. We are doing the hardest hardcore band of all time bracket right now. We are the hardest hardcore band of all time. We are, and before I say it, we are trying to factor out the members' personal lives from this.
So just music.
Just music, objectivity. If I show them to a guy on a street who knows nothing about this world, who are they going to say is harder? To start our left side quarterfinals, we have All Out War versus Cold as Life.
So you want me to just give you? I'm just going to tell you who is harder.
Tell me.
Cold's Life's harder than All Out War.
No, but think about it, Dan.
No, without it, think about the lyrics.
I know, but look at 10 incredible LPs and consistency.
Doesn't matter, dude. If you write a song like Little from the World and before that Born to Land Hard, and then later on the record is Ski Mask in a 45.
I know. Police is on there. But
it doesn't touch.
From Jeff's own mouth, hard wasn't even the intention. You know?
No, I get it. Listen, I get it. I understand. There are things that All Out War just doesn't. Dude, the song Promise, just telling somebody, we're gonna get you, motherfucker. We're gonna get you, is fucking harder than anything All Out War's ever done.
But
the assassins are in the house of God.
But the guy on the street. Think you're close to this material.
I understand, but can he? I know that this is not exactly a fair question, but if you give a guy on the sheet the music and then a lyric sheet, he's going to be like, "Oh, it's this."
That's fair.
It's just not, you know what I mean?
I think you may be right. If lyrics are half the battle here, you may be right.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, lyrics alone, it just doesn't come close. Sorry, Mike Score. You write great lyrics.
And he's still doing it. That's the thing. He's still killing it.
He is still doing it, and I think he would agree with me that his lyrics are not as hard as Cold as Life lyrics. I'm sorry.
And I don't think that's lyrically his intention, but musically.
No, it's not. His lyrics are great, but I think they're about much broader topics.
The downfall of man, the kingdom of hell, the kingdom of heaven.
Exactly.
All right.
All those things.
Let me call James.
Right. Thank you, Dan.
You got it.
We might break the tie with one more vote.
Okay.
Thank you for your service. Bye.
All right. These are two of James' favorite bands.
Okay.
All right. He's on his way. He's going to Muay Thai. He's going to kick some ass. He's probably listening to one of these two bands. All right. We got All Out War versus Cold as Life.
I mean, that is quite the mashup.
Yeah.
I think this is a tough one for me, but in my personal opinion, All Out War has some of the hardest riffs ever in any hardcore. In any albums consecutively, I would say All Out War is probably top 5 of my favorite bands and hardest. Cold as Life, I would say, has 5 or 6 hard songs musically, but they're more, I feel like they're more punk influenced than All Out War. So I mean, I like, obviously, Cold as Life, almost as much, but I would say if we're going hardest, like, it's got to be All Out War for me.
Okay. All right. Thank you, James.
Thank you, James.
All right. Have a good time.
I think I agree.
Dude, I'm fucking flip-flopping.
It's hard. I mean, I could. This is the challenge because I could absolutely. I was swayed by both.
As was I, but I think they haven't heard the rest of the discussion about every other band. I think intention and the parts it matters.
We're talking musical hardness.
Yes.
Lyrics obviously matter, and in that regard, like, obviously, Cold as Life. It's not even close.
No, it's not even close. This is borderline impossible. I think it's All Out War. I think we rip the Band-Aid off, even if it comes down to the number of hard parts.
Yeah,
you can have quantity and quality.
I will. Yeah, I think for like what I meant by this, of like hardest band is if I cover.
Yeah.
we've both covered both of these bands. You know,
That's true.
one went better for me, and it was All Out War. You know,
Interesting.
but I don't know what that has to do with this.
What-
But it's just I think
I think it's all
hardest moments musically versus hardest moments musically, it has to be All Out War.
And what Dan said is true is like, or I'm sorry, what James said is true is like, there's a little bit more punk influence.
A lot more punk.
And if we're removing the personal shit away from the music, yeah, I think it's All Out War. I think anybody would hear that and be like, oh, they would for sure say heavier, but they I think harder is there too.
Yeah, and you know this is the most devastating one yet.
Yeah, but
Just
they're
like
all about to be.
what went into this is I don't think either of us are happy that we have to do this. But it's got to be All Out War.
Yeah.
From a musical objective backup standpoint, it has to be.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
The winner's All Out War. I can't talk about it anymore. I'm going to change my mind. All right. Brutal next matchup, as all of them are from now on.
Yeah.
Terror versus 100 Demons.
Listen, this is one of those. This is Wesley Snipes crying and pointing the gun kind of a thing, where it's just
That's
like,
at Terror
yeah,
because 100 Demons is harder.
I love Terror,
Yeah.
but
I think they're the best hardcore band ever.
yeah.
That does not mean they're the hardest, and I think even Terror understands.
Yes.
They close with Keepers of the Faith. It's borderline a hardcore ballad, you know?
Right. Sure.
It's got to be 100 Demons here.
Dude.
Period.
Never. I'm just thinking of like songs like part for part. It's like
His father's son, dude.
dude.
Dun 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 dun. Come on.
There's they have no shortage of riffs. They're all hard. They're all meant to be hard. You know.
Yeah, that's the point. And
Yeah.
Terror, much like Cold as Life, much like EGH, offers so much more than that. Much like Death Threat,
Yes.
where it's like everything that you can get in hardcore, you can get from Terror at some point,
Wow. Yeah.
which makes them the best ever. But the hardest
Yes.
in this case is 100 Demons.
100%.
Hey, 100%. I love a there's a meme I saw the other day that was like, good dick got you laid up going, so how many demons? Pretty good. Pretty good. Good, nice work. Okay, so our left semifinal is All Out War versus 100 Demons. Wow. Holy shit.
I think James may have called who the big four were going to be.
Did he really?
My final four is definitely going to be.
Don't say it.
I won't say it, but so far he's 2, and I have a feeling he's about to be 3.
Shit. Okay. Here we go. I really wish this next matchup was not now.
So this Hatebreed versus Merauder is probably something I've said a dozen times before.
Yeah. But you've never factored only hardness.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Hatebreed later on has more sing-along stuff.
Merauder later on don't have anything.
Yeah, they don't need it, brother.
Yeah, but Hatebreed could have not needed it too, but they chose to keep going. And until I think every record has immense substance. The self-titled has some of their hardest songs ever. That's fucking deep. You can't. I don't know if you can judge it off Master Killer and Five Deadly Venoms alone.
Of course you can.
Okay, well then look at the parts.
Yeah.
You go part for part. Hatebreeds win.
I don't see. And I'm not even trying to be, just argue. I don't think so.
Well, okay, give me one that you're thinking.
I mean, here's what's great. Any part of the A side specifically of Master Killer.
I mean, but like Doomsayer, I could just give you that.
Yeah, but that's only only the breakdown. Like the
No.
rest is like
you could probably mouth every riff on Satisfaction easier than you could mouth every riff on Master Killer.
no, not me personally.
Just saying.
All right, ready?
I think, and here's the thing: Hatebreed's goal, hard. Period. Hard. Marauder's goal,
Hard.
we heard that what they said to Paris. They go, we want to be death metal. This is my favorite record of all time. We're talking, and I can still have the sense to go, if hard is the only thing we're factoring, it has to be Hatebreed.
Lyrics.
Yeah.
Lyrics for Merauder, I think, are harder.
But this is like an All Out War versus Cold as Life thing. Because a lot of the Merauder lyrics, the government stuff, yes, of course. A lot of it is, the kingdom of man, humanity will fall. Where Hatebreed is, their second fucking studio album is, hey, my best friend and guitar player just killed himself. So I'm gonna write them this uplifting thing for you to fucking beat the shit out of each other too.
I don't know.
That's never been done.
I know that that's awesome. And obviously, I back it. I don't know if that is necessarily hard.
I think it does. I
being
think, and then back to the rise of brutality.
Yeah.
You go record for record, Satisfaction versus Master Killer. It's tough, but hard being the only consideration. Go Perseverance versus Five Deadly Venoms. It's not even close.
I
Go
think
Brutality versus Brutality. Come on.
Well, that's different. Brutality.
And then they
versus
give you
brutality.
Supremacy. And then they give you Self-Titled.
Yeah, but that, again, quality and quantity are a thing.
I agree when the quantity is still quality. But
it's not all quality.
No, but it's not all Master Killer tier.
But I can hum every riff on both those records.
Right, but that doesn't. But
I
few
can't
of them are actively hard.
But later Perseverance songs I might not know as well.
Yeah, but you would hear Unloved, dude. That comes on dun 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 and dun 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 and dun dun dun.
What's harder
I personally don't even think this is close.
What's harder than being the master killer?
I agree. Oh, I mean, what's harder than it is going down and dun 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 dun. Who do you want to ring in here to settle this debate?
Maybe Brody.
I mean, he's going Hatebreed, so don't bother. I would say. I think we need somebody objective.
Sean.
Brody's going Hatebreed. I promise you. But maybe
James would 100% go Merauder.
So let's go somebody we don't know.
Yeah. Yes. That's who would we not? What about Volvo?
Maybe an Alec or a Mike.
Mike.
Mike's tough. Alec is, I think, is most objective here.
I think he would go Hatebreed.
We go Mike. Mike would be Mike would be fair.
Yeah.
And Mike, Mike analyzes things
in his
intelligently.
way.
You know. All right, we've got Mike Cesario from Twitching Tongues and Holy Blade here.
What's going on?
All right, we've got a tough one for you.
All right, let me get my office. Hold on. All right, we're good.
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
This is to determine one of the right side bracket semifinalists, Mike.
Shit.
Marauder versus Hatebreed.
Why you gotta give me the hardest one?
Tell him we need an objective opinion.
So I need an objective opinion here because I know I could guess other people's answers right away. Like Nate, I know is going Hatebreed.
Right.
Alec, I think, is going Hatebreed. I want you because I think that you're going to break this down scientifically and objectively.
We're talking hardest between the two.
Hard, like musically hardest.
And lyrically, but not.
And lyrically, but think about it,
Dude,
okay,
that's fucking bullshit,
3,
dude.
5, okay. This might be a disappointment for you, but I think it's Hatebreed.
I'm with you. We're going to make one more call. Bo's going to make one more call. And we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Who should I call?
Who loves both? Period.
Ty. I don't know, dude.
That'd be funny.
You know who would be interesting to call is Chris, because he doesn't really listen to.
Doesn't give a shit.
You know what I'm saying? So it would be
Yeah.
like interesting.
Yeah.
Nick would approach it very very scientifically.
Yeah.
Trying to see who we got here.
I mean, my band is standing by.
Yeah, but they're all gonna.
Anthony.
Okay, that's a good one.
Anthony.
That's a good one. I like it.
You better pick up, you son of a bitch. It's his birthday.
Well, what the fuck you won't?
There she is, the birthday girl. Okay, here we have Anthony Gonzalez. And all right, Anthony, we've got. I need you to settle the biggest one yet.
Biggest and the best, I guess.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's right.
Go
This.
to the back where the acoustics are better.
Okay.
Thank you, Simon.
We are near our semifinals here. And before we get there, we've got to figure out who's harder between Hatebreed and Merauder.
Fuck you. Kiss my ass, bro.
I know.
Okay. If I'm really thinking about it, if I'm really thinking like, hey, this is objectively the best one.
Hardest. Not
hardest.
best.
Sorry, the hardest. I mean, it's Hatebreed.
I'm with you.
Think about it. There's so many more. When I think of a mosh part, and I'm like, fuck, man, and then I see the mosh pit and people getting their ass kicked, it's Hatebreed.
You're visualizing. Dun 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 dun. You know.
And you're just like, you know,
Absolutely.
All right.
I think it had to be Hatebreed here. Thank you, Tony.
over there, and just like,
Exactly. No, period. Thank you, Tony.
it is Hatebreed.
Thank you,
Happy
Tony.
birthday.
Yo, check this out.
Happy birthday, Anthony. Oh. Bye.
All right. Well, that's I am outvoted, but I'm not. Like, I don't agree. I disagree, and I'm exiting.
I think this is a
Disrespectful.
deicide typo thing all over again.
Kinda.
I just don't think Merauder is doing or trying to do hard all the time. It is so much more than hard. It's so much more intelligent and intricately crafted.
Yeah.
It is not. It is the best piece of music ever. It's the best one.
Yeah.
Period.
It's literally the purest, finest example of what hard is.
I don't think that's true, and I think a guy on the street would agree.
So, like, if you
Yeah.
played, but see, a guy on the street, knucklehead people who don't know about hardcore, when they hear Satisfaction and Before recording qualities and shit, they can't.
Bro,
But they
think
can't
about
do
what
that.
think about what I Will Be Heard did for mainstream audiences.
Yeah, is
Though
that
people who like Dave Matthews heard that and they were like, "This is the hardest shit ever." And I do think that accessibility can be considered here. Making that a radio hit is crazy. Going down, it like crafting, doing less in a way that is more.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard.
All right.
What they've managed to do with 0134 these past 30 years, nobody else has come close.
No way. No way.
And that's hard.
All right.
I'm
I
not
don't like it. I don't like it.
Master Killer's the best record ever. Period. But it's not harder. It and Five Deadly Venoms in a vacuum are not harder than the Hatebreed discography.
See, I
That's my argument.
I legitimately disagree.
I
think there's more punk.
I'll
more
call a
sing-along.
third person. I'll call a third person since if you're feeling so strongly about this, then I'm not going to sit here and be like you're wrong.
If it's three, if it's been two people right away who are in your band that, well, one is in one, one's in the other, but where you cover
Let's see
both.
if we can't get one more person to verify.
But I'm saying you cover both.
I did.
And Anthony,
But they're
still
both in
said-
bands with me,
Yeah.
So let's get an outsider.
What's up?
Hello, Jess from World of Pleasure.
Hello, how are you?
So good. You are live on the show.
Terrible that you're showing me. I'm sweating my ass off in a trailer.
No, you're dope as hell. Everybody knows that. So this is it's an interesting conundrum I'm FaceTiming you for. We are in the middle of the hardest hardcore band of all time tournament bracket episode.
Okay.
And you are a purveyor of hard, of mosh, of breakdowns, of all things extreme. So we wanted to get your opinion to break this extreme, not really a tie going on, but this heated debate we're in.
Okay.
We've got to figure out who is harder, bear with me here,
Yeah.
between Hatebreed and Merauder.
I knew that you were going to ask me a question about bands that I have no opinion on.
Oh, you have no opinion.
That's even better, though. That
So
might be good.
objectively, that's good.
It's hard for different reasons, but I don't have enough an opinion to be able to answer give an educated answer.
No, that's good. I want objective here. You're not passionately debating for each one. So you can tell me scientifically from what you've heard who's harder. Hard.
So we use Merauder riffs, so I should probably say Merauder.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sound more like Hatebreed, though. I'll give you that. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I feel like I'm obligated to choose Merauder. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Obligation accepted.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just making sure that no one is stealing the box of merch that I.
No, you're doing great. That's all we need. Thank you so much, Jess.
Okay, you're welcome.
Have a great day. Bye.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I when I think of hard, this is Crowbar to me from the other discussion.
See, and I think the world thinks of Hatebreed.
Yeah. And I do
think we've ingrained Merauder into the world, but like the greater society hears hard and they go, well, there's Hatebreed.
I got to concede that. That's fine.
Okay. Because I'm not making that up,
No. I definitely, there's a reason, like, I heard it in high school and was like, oh, that's jock shit.
See, you
know what
heard
I mean?
Merauder and you're like, I don't know what to think of this.
Yeah, right.
So,
Because one is more musically adventurous, let's say, or just kind of ambitious, and one is hard.
One is hard.
I'm with you,
okay. I'm glad
it.
glad we got there.
but I'm with you.
Next one is tough too, man. Irate versus Kickback. I think it's Kickback.
I think it's Kickback.
I think
it's Kickback because that's interesting because it's kind of
because I realistically their second record is called New York Metal, so they've got Burden of Crumbling Society EP and 1134 that we can even put in the hardcore category. Incredibly hard, legendarily hard. Kickback gets more extreme every time they write something. And I Forever War Breakdown alone puts them in contention. No Surrender as a whole is like one of the most what is the word? Unimitable, unimitable. Like you cannot, it cannot be replicated.
I got you.
By anyone. Whereas motherfuckers are out here imitating Irate,
Yes.
I don't think it's possible to do Kickback, and I do think it's a lot of that is in part of how naturally and organically and uniquely hard it is. They're hard in a way that no other band on here is.
Could say the same about Merauder and Hatebreed, but That's okay.
Yeah, but it's like Hatebreed could be argued as the hardest thing, period. You know?
Yeah.
Even
Okay.
if death metal were in consideration here.
I think it's Kickback.
I think it has to be Kickback.
Safely Kickback, yeah.
And, you know, Irate, hey, you made it far, guys. Excellent work. But Kickback is, every second is violent and intense and like terrifying.
Dude, intense is a good way to put it. Yeah.
Scary music.
Truly.
Cornered, 25 to life breakdown type shit. Hard in its own way. Forever War, you get like All Out War vibes. Hard in its own way. 150 Passions EP, they really find their lane, master it. Hard in its own insane way. No Surrender. One of the wildest, hardest music experiences you'll ever have. It's got to be Kickback.
Okay.
So that means we have our semi-finalists cemented, cast in blood. On the left side, All Out War versus 100 Demons. Fuck me. Versus Hatebreed, and then Hatebreed versus Kickback. Let's do this.
Okay.
Left side. Knee jerk, it's 100 Demons.
Yeah.
Knee jerk, it's 100 Demons.
I just think, again, I think that now you're talking about like the purest, richest, best of what they all have, right? It's like the most densely concentrated, hardest music, I think, is 100 Demons.
Yeah. And, you know, if we start getting into part for part here, this could get a lot more difficult. You know?
Yeah.
Because there's parts on any All Out War record I would put up against anything ever.
But kind of the same goes with 100 Demons.
I know, but there's 2 albums, you know? And I think I want to commend All Out War for still doing it and still doing it well.
Well, yeah, they're semifinalists. You know what I mean?
They are semifinalists. But, I mean, 100 Demons did it all in 2 LPs.
As arguably as did, you know, it's for me it's the same thing with Merauder. It's like this, like they're very similar to me, where it's like, yeah, there's not a lot, but it's so good. Yeah. What's the office thing? Would you like a medium amount of pretty good pizza?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think that's. I think 100 Demons is a concentrated amount of like perfectly hard stuff.
Yeah.
And All Out War is an extreme amount of still extremely hard music.
But a little more broad in what they're doing.
So is Demons. They got straight up like early 2000s metalcore parts, you know?
Yeah.
They're doing Kill Switch sometimes. Where All Out War is doing Slayer.
But we can't hold the melodic
Not
stuff
at
against
all.
them.
No, the time and place it made sense, and now it's cooler than any Kill Switch song.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
I think it's 100 Demons. You know what's something that we never even talked about that would have been an interesting point for every single one of these? In their heyday, whose pit would you be most afraid to be in?
100 Demons.
You know? And like go back and look at some of these and it's like,
yeah. I think that answers 100 Demons.
I think so too.
I'm conflicted though. I'm battling internal conflict because I think All Out War's vast collection of some of the hardest pit parts ever written is like tough to put anything against.
Well,
do we phone a friend?
I don't.
Let's get Sir Brody King in here.
100 Demons versus All Out War. Okay.
I think he'll be able to be objective here. Oh, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Brody King. We are calling you in for a very important discussion. We are on our left side semifinals.
Okay.
And we're stuck. We're at an impasse here.
What are the bands?
All Out War versus 100 Demons.
I mean, gut instinct, 100 Demons. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Period.
Ask Merauder
I'm with
Hatebreed
you.
too.
I think we're with you.
Yeah.
Our knee-jerk reactions were the same. I was considering All Out War's vast discography and consistent discography, but I mean, what 100 Demons achieved in just 2 albums must be commended.
I also think you have to take into consideration members, lore, everything else.
Say no more.
And 100 Demons wins that hands down.
All right, you're right.
Ask him about Merauder Hatebreed too, just for fun.
So, earlier we were stuck on Merauder and Hatebreed.
I mean,
Hard.
yeah. I mean, like Hatebreed, musically the harder band.
Yes. Period.
Merauder, physically the harder band.
Yes, but we're talking. We're not so much talking personally. We're talking musically.
So then I think it's objectively Hatebreed.
Objectively.
All right.
Bowen.
All right.
All right. Well, now it's All Out War and 100 Demons. And if you take the lore out, and picture you're a guy on the street listening to both for the first time. Who are you saying is harder?
Listen, All Out War has never written the lyrics, fuck the women and children, fuck you, go die. So
I think Mike Score will listen to this and be like, that is true. Guy loves women and children. What do you want from him?
yeah, that's 100 Demons wins hands down.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Excellent work. Bye.
Yeah, I think that's how I feel. For sure.
Okay. It was my gut instinct as well.
Right.
I had to talk myself. I wanted to talk myself into a discussion here, but I think it's 100 Demons. So congratulations to 100 Demons who have made it officially to the final. And our right side semifinals, Hatebreed versus Kickback. It's Hatebreed.
Of course. I mean, you're not, because it would have been Merauder over Kickback. So you're not, you know what I mean? There's like no
100%.
It just is
I think the bracket could have been anybody here.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats to Kickback for making it to the semis. Truly.
Yeah.
This could have, maybe should have been Cold as Life in this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been Death Threat easily. Could have been Madball easily. Could have been Biohazard.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been TUI.
Mm-hmm.
But Hatebreed has defeated Kickback in the semifinals. And now we are here to our final.
100 Demons. So this is interesting.
It is. This is not planned.
100 Demons versus Hatebreed. all Connecticut.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same thing as Merauder versus Hatebreed. Kind of.
You're going 100 Demons?
I
listen, utmost respect. I hear that and I go, Bose, you're a real man.
I think lyrically, the pit conversation, the amount of Hatebreed stuff that is kind of focused around sing-alongs and is kind of like participatory later on, does kind of tip the scales.
But I think you got to throw the scale away when you go first 2 albums to only 2 albums.
So you're saying...
I'm saying...
Satisfaction and Perseverance versus...
Satisfaction and Perseverance versus In the Eyes of the Lord
and Self-Titled.
And Self-Titled is a tough discussion already. Then Rise of Brutality comes in like fucking Theoden and sways the battle, And then you got Supremacy coming in with a Grammy nomination.
Don't bring in my king.
And then you got Self-Titled, the dark horse, underworld, scary, hidden, masterful pit writing phenomenon.
Dude, don't discount
people don't even
Supremacy also.
That's what I said. No, I said Supremacy's is Grammy nominated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought, my bad. Yeah.
Hard music.
Call Sean.
That might work. That might work.
Did he?
Because listen,
Didn't he play in 100 Demons?
he did play in 100 Demons.
So
This is really funny.
yeah.
He might not answer.
Yeah.
Steven? Oh,
Yeah.
my beloved Sean Martin.
What up?
What
The king, one of the greatest hardcore guitar players and musicians to ever live. One of the greatest musicians, period, to ever live.
You crazy.
I know. Sean, I'm crazy for you. Sean, we are at our grand finale here. We're down to the final two bands, and we figured you, having played in both of them, were the most appropriate person to ask.
This is ridiculous.
I know. We love you so much. Sean,
Yeah.
the hardest hardcore band of all time is down to Hatebreed and 100 Demons.
Jesus.
I know. And you know, I've got to get your take on it.
I mean, I'd have to go with 100 Demons.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, what are we talking about? You know?
Yes.
It's hard to discern. It's like hard, like riffs, yeah.
Yeah.
Hard maniacs, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like I would say 100 Demons.
So this whole time I've been arguing.
Like if you go to a 100 Demons show, it's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so were Hatebreed ones. You were there.
It's terrifying, but it's different.
Yeah.
You know. What do you guys think of that?
I've been arguing this whole time to look at the music objectively, you know? As if I stopped a man on Hollywood Boulevard who knew nothing about this world and showed him a song each by each one, the hardest one by each one,
And we did the opposite.
who would win, you know?
Oh, hold on one second. This is my friend Justin.
Is that Big Justin?
Who's that?
We've got Justin here. Justin, let me ask you something.
Oh, what up?
Justin, you're live on the show.
Oh shit, that's not good.
We're down to our grand finale here. It's Hatebreed versus 100 Demons. Who's harder? Harder.
Fuck.
Musically harder.
Musically harder? Fuck. If we're going off first records. First record.
No, we're going off full Discogs, everything considered, just the word hard. Who's the harder of the two bands?
I'm sorry, 100 Demons.
Wow. Wow.
So nice. Oh, well, you were there.
Unbelievable. This is truly shocking. An underdog upset victory for 100 Demons?
Fuck yeah.
I would say, but also 100 Demons only has 2 records. It's like the impact that they made with 2 records. There's, you know.
Yeah, but what if Hatebreed broke up after Perseverance? Would it not have been the same, you think? Because they got those 2, and then Rise comes and whoops your ass.
Yeah.
And then a Grammy nom.
What I'm saying, it's kind of a like hard to, it's kind of uneven with like, you know, the amount of stuff too, you know?
Which is part of the argument. Hatebreed, longevity and consistency must be considered.
But that doesn't mean hard.
Man, yeah. I mean, just knowing everybody personally, I'd have to say harder of the 2 bands, the 100 Demons.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Personal
understood.
level, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's hard to say, man. That's a sticky position to just throw me into.
I know, but it's, you know, it's that Irish wit and that Irish light you got. I knew you'd know.
You know, and I'm obviously like I'm not like, I love both those bands and they're all good friends of mine. And obviously, I played with both of them, but like, it's hard. That's a hard thing to say. Like, hard thing to decide on the spot, especially.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna get a few more opinions because this is the final.
Because this just bummed you out.
No, not at all, Sean.
No.
This is either way. Connecticut's winning, baby. Either way, I win. So don't worry, we're gonna keep going. Thank you, Sean, for this incredible, for your time and these amazing answers.
Love you guys.
Love you too. Have the best day.
Dude.
Bye.
Oh. Dude, foot in mouth, Mr. Young.
Holy Lord.
That was awesome. That's exactly. He even explained it like he said the show you would least want to be at.
Yeah. It's true.
Oh man.
I think, who else do we ask? You want to ask a buddy? You want to phone a buddy?
Yeah, who do I got?
I think we get 3 here so that it's
5.
2 out of 3, you know?
Yeah. Let's see.
Anthony Anzaldo, maybe?
Oh, that's a good one. It's an interesting one.
Oh, fantastic.
Bro.
Anthony,
Yes.
you're live on the show.
Literally?
We are at an impasse here.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the grand finale for the hardest hardcore band of all time.
And I'm the one you call.
You're one of them, and I think you can be objective here, and that's why I called you.
Okay. You're not calling. You can't call Jamie Hatebreed because he's gonna say.
He's gonna say Hatebreed. So the finale is down to Hatebreed and 100 Demons. And the only factor is hard.
Yeah. Right. Now, if you were calling Hello, Bo.
Hi.
I was worried that it was going to be Hatebreed and Negative Approach because I would have had to hang up.
I understand.
Who did Negative Approach beat out before I give my...
Negative Approach got beat by Terror beat Negative Approach.
Okay.
In hard. You got to factor hard, you know?
Sure.
It's the chicken and the egg there.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I'm going Hatebreed.
Okay. Outstanding. Thank you, Anthony.
Hey. Thank you.
Wise and pure as always. And gorgeous too.
All right, I got Lumpy.
All right, have a great day.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good.
All right.
We got Lumpy from Days Media Group here.
Days Media Group, 1 billion bands. Lumpy, we need your opinion.
Yep.
It's on. We're doing the hardest bands of all time bracket.
Yeah.
We're down to the finals. Okay.
Right.
We got 100 Demons versus Hatebreed. The harder of the two.
I mean, I guess I think it has to be 100 Demons.
Yes, dude.
Just
Yes.
because, I mean, well, if the two bands fought, you know who's winning.
We're talking only musically. Only musically.
All right, only musically. I mean, it's still like it's kind of a tie.
No ties.
Fuck it, I'll go 100 Demons.
Yeah.
Okay.
We called, well, a little spoiler for you personally, but we called Sean and he said the same thing.
I think that does it.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, see ya.
Listen, I'm stunned and blown away.
I'm fine. I feel.
And I do like, you know, I could do a dissertation track by track argument here.
Yeah.
But I love 100 Demons so much that I don't want to.
Yeah, it's like you're getting your cake and eating it too. You know, like
100%.
Yeah.
This is a thrilling underdog upset victory,
dude. It is an underdog, like, because you would look at it at the whole list, like with the other one, you would look at it and I would go, oh, it's going to be Crowbar.
Oh, it's going to be Crowbar. But
whereas this one, I don't think you would immediately say, oh, it's going to be 100 Demons.
No, and you know what's interesting is, like, if Cold as Life didn't lose to All Out War, I might have had them over 100 Demons, you know?
Yeah. Personally, I think I would have, my top 4 to discuss would have been All Out War, Cold as Life, 100 Demons, Merauder. Those are the 4 hardest on the list to me. But it just, that's not the way the bracket.
But that's not the way it's laid out. Yeah, mine would probably be All Out War, Cold as Life, Hatebreed, 100 Demons.
Yeah.
So we made it. It's, you know, this is the bracket at work.
Yes, which
you got to trust the bracket and let it happen.
Yeah.
And the way that the bracket saw it happen was with a sneak 100 Demons victory.
Heaviest,
hardest. I'm speechless.
Hardest hardcore band of all time.
Holy shit.
100 Demons.
My life, my crew. Fuck you. This has been HardLore's The Hardest Hardcore Man of All Time bracket. It's highly controversial.
Yeah.
It's highly subjective.
Yeah, this is...
But I gotta admit, I'm thrilled with the winner.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. You guys all fill out your own. Tag us. Let's see.
Holy hell.
Let's see. Comment your big 4. That's kind of what I want to know. I think after the 4, it's kind of, then it's really kind of.
Then it's kind of, you know, I just, you know, wow.
Yeah.
I'm stunned. And I don't know what to say.
I think Nail and Coffin is Sean.
Yeah. The guy in both bands saying one is harder.
Yeah. I like that with the random guy off the street who doesn't know anything about either. We did the opposite and called the guy who knows a lot about both.
You know, the guy who knows about everything, and he said 100 Demons. So there you have it, folks.
There you go.
100 Demon wins. 100 Demons wins.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching. We will see you next week. I'm in awe. Truly. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.